tangy, and tasty. It's none other than my namesake signature salad, taste bud tantalizing Tabouli. This fresh and finely chopped signature, significant, and special salad consists of fresh parsley, spearmint, scallions, vine-ripe ruby red tomatoes, and fine bulgur wheat, which combine together in a tidal wave of fresh lemon juice and extra virgin olive oil sprinkled with sea salt, making for a luscious and light Lebanese salad that is incredibly refreshing. Originating in the mountains of Mount Lebanon, it is known as the Queen Salata throughout the land. This special salad typically accompanies most Lebanese dishes and is served as part of the maza or alongside an array of main courses, making for mouth-watering and memorable Middle Eastern meals. It's tart, it's tangy, it's tasty. It's Tabouli. It's Tabouli time! It's a salad, a nickname, and a stage name / brand name by yours truly, Julie Taboulie. And today is all about Tabouli and traditions as well. And Tabouli is basically known as the Queen Salata or salad throughout the land of Lebanon and the Middle East. It's this overly refreshing, fresh herb, vine-ripe, ruby red tomatoes or garden tomatoes with sprinkles of bulgur wheat, in Arabic we say burga, and it's tossed in a fresh lemon juice, olive oil, and sea salt dressing. And it's absolutely one of the most tastiest salads that you'll come across in your life. And with a name like Julie Taboulie, you better believe that mine is one of the best that you'll come about as well. So the first thing that I did for our Tabouli is that I have these beautiful bunches of flat leaf parsley. I have about 3 bunches for this recipe. And then I also have about 6 scallions, also known as green onions. And I have some spearmint, which we call nana. They're washed, they're rinsed, and they're partially dried, and we're first gonna get started on our bulgur wheat. And because we're using the fine cut, there's no need to actually boil the bulgur wheat. We're just gonna simply put it in some nice water, just tap water is fine. And that's it. Also, if you are celiac or gluten sensitive or just sort of trying to live a gluten-free life lately, then you can certainly substitute quinoa, which is a gluten-free grain, for the bulgur wheat. So we're gonna start off with some beautiful vine-ripe ruby red tomatoes on the vine, which are my tomatoes of choice. As you can see, these beauties right here. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna sort of cut out the little core of the tomatoes in each one of these. And the cut is very key in making tabouli because, as I mentioned, it's a finely chopped salad. So we kind of want all these little bite-sized pieces going through. And it makes all the difference when you toss it into the tabouli bowl with all of the other ingredients. All right, so I'm gonna scoop up as much of these juices as I can because the juices actually make all the difference because they blend really beautifully with the fresh lemon juice and the olive oil and the sea salt to create that tasty tabouli dressing. All right, so now we cleaned our board. We're gonna start with our scallions first, and these are just beautiful. So we're just gonna simply trim the ends, stems, just like so. And then we're just gonna run our sharp paring knife right through. By bunching them together really makes all the difference, by the way, in the cuts as well, being uniform. Look at that. See how beautiful that is? And now we're gonna go for our flat leaf parsley. As I mentioned, I'm using about 3 bunches, and they're pretty good size. They're not too small and they're not too big. So we're just gonna slice those off, just like so. Try to keep it nicely, tightly bunched with the one hand, and we're gonna start at the ends, at those tender, thin stems, and work our way through the leaves. See how finely that I'm sort of running my knife through? And with my other hand, I'm holding all of the parsley together. So there's no need actually to keep on like running your knife through and chopping and chopping and chopping because you don't want to bruise the parsley leaves either, which you could definitely do if you over chop. Who needs a food processor for this? Look how beautiful it is, right? And because we pre-washed it, we let it dry a little bit so the leaves aren't wet, it's not soaked and soggy and things like that, okay? And I also wanted to mention that the reason why I sort of layer it with the tomatoes on the bottom and then the scallions is that you can definitely make this ahead of time doing it this way. If you were to reverse it, then the tomatoes would make the herbs really soggy. Okay, so our last sort of fresh herb and key herb in Tabouli is our fresh spearmint. And it is spearmint. It's not peppermint or any other type of mint. In Arabic, we call it nana. I'm just going to take them off their small stems like I'm doing right now. And I'm going to just set them on top of the Tabouli bowl. We're basically going to be tossing the Tabouli right before we enjoy it with my Uncle Dominic today. And before we get to making our lahem mishwi, our luscious lamb kebabs, and our Lebanese-style French fries and toum sauce, we're going to take a little look at the tomatoes with Mama in the garden. Although all of our fresh herbs and vegetables make up the majority of the tabouli, for me, making the tastiest tabouli is all about the tomato. Right, Mama?
Right.
So here we have so many different types of tomatoes that are right from your garden. So
Right.
tell everybody about what you planted this year.
Well, of course, we plant the cherry tomatoes, always good.
Yes.
The San Marzano tomatoes.
Yes.
We have the brandy wine, regular like beefsteak tomatoes.
Tomatoes on the
And-
vine, which are
right.
my favorite.
And they all taste good, as long as they're fresh from the garden.
Yeah, so my pick for tabouli, which I always like to go for, is a nice, fresh, vine-ripe, ruby red tomato on the vine. But as Mama was saying, really any,
As long as it's fresh out of the garden, it tastes delicious in the tabouli.
so if they're in season and they're in the garden, any really tomato that you like can go in the tabouli dish. And
Yeah.
why I think the tomatoes make all the difference, and you tell me, Mama, as well, but the tomato juices and the tomatoes themselves are really what give the tabouli, you know, all of that flavor, the juices.
The juice that mixed with the lemon and the olive oil that
Yeah.
makes it taste so good.
Yeah, I agree. For me and my tabouli, and for Mama's tabouli, and for your tabouli, go for the tastiest tomato that you can find.
Right, correct.
I love that I was able to share all of the reasons why the tomatoes are so key in making the tastiest tabouli, and of course with Mama in her garden. So while we were learning about tomatoes, I actually started to get a head start on our luscious lahem mishwi, our lamb kebabs. And the word lahem literally translates to lamb, and mishwi is grilled. Now, I'm obviously using the traditional meat of choice in Lebanon and the Middle East, which is lamb, but you can certainly use beef if you like sirloin would be really nice for these kebabs as well. As you can see, I have them in these beautiful sort of 2-inch to 3-inch size cubes of meat, and you can do them yourself at home if you have really good butcher and knife skills, or you can have your butcher do them for you. And I had them marinated basically in some olive oil, sea salt, and pepper, and that's it, really simple. And for the onions, I basically wedged up some beautiful Spanish onions, some or yellow onions. I used Vidalia onions, which have a little bit more sweetness to them, you know, they're really nice, and also some red onions. And with the peppers, I have yellow, orange, and red bell peppers. So it's really colorful too. I mean, traditionally growing up, you know, I always just remember the lamb with the onions. That was how my family always made it, and that's how I always saw it at our Lebanese table. But I decided to kind of color it up a little bit and give a little bit more flavor with the peppers. So now I'm just oiling up our grilled pan that we have nice and hot over our open flames on our cooktop here. I'm just brushing them with a little bit of olive oil to ensure that our lamb kebabs do not stick to the grill. Okay, so now we're just gonna get these on. Look how beautiful they came out, right? Mmm. Don't you just love the sound of sizzle? I think we can get about 6 of these on at once, just like so. Just want to make sure that they're, you know, have enough space between each one of them, and they're sort of nestled right on the grill itself. And then we're just going to let these grill for about 10 to 12 minutes, and we're going to turn them halfway through, and you can kind of simply just rotate them with your fingers, the end of the wooden skewers that we have, so that they're evenly cooking on all sides of the lamb. And because it's lamb, it's definitely a lean meat, so we definitely don't want to just put these down and walk away and sort of like forget about them. We want to make sure that we're sort of manning the grill when it comes to lamb meat. So our second batch of our lahem mishwi, our luscious lamb kebabs, look absolutely succulent, and they are grilled to perfection, as you guys can see. And I just love the aroma. It smells absolutely sensational in this kitchen right now. It's making me crazy, actually, how good it smells. And I love that we layered the lamb with the red onions and the Vidalia onions and the yellow Spanish onions, as well as the bell peppers. The red and the orange and the yellow bell peppers, which gives the lamb lots of flavor. So now we're just going to get some more of our Kebabs, our Lebanese pocket bread, right on top of those lamb kebabs to stay nice and warm. We're just gonna get these in the oven. I have the oven preheated at about 200 degrees, and they're gonna stay nice and warm and super succulent while we work on our other traditional Lebanese dishes. Hi everyone, I'm here with my Uncle Dominic. He's my very special uncle, and he's so special for so many reasons, but there's one in particular that comes up in my life every single day. So when I'm meeting and greeting all of you, before you guys ask me about my recipes or about Mama or her garden, there is one question that you always ask me first. What do you think that question is?
Where did you get your name?
Exactly. So, where did I get my name, Julie Taboulie?
Well, it started when you were about 5 years old. We'll be hanging out in the backyard, having a few drinks and some maza.
Yes.
And you'll be running around the yard throughout the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And we constantly call you Julie Taboulie.
Yeah.
And that name, I think, stuck for
Right.
a long time.
Yes. I don't remember being called anything else, actually, from an early age than Julie Taboulie.
Correct. The dish Tabouli is really special
Yeah.
to a lot of Middle Eastern people, and
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, one of my
And
favorites, of course. And then now you call me Miss Taboulie.
Right.
I've graduated.
Yes, you graduated.
Who would have thought? Would you have thought that?
Never in a million years. I never thought I'd be sitting over here doing an interview with you, and that name stuck all those years.
I'm so happy you gave me the nickname, and I'm so happy that just so serendipitously I'm able to be now Julie Taboulie to all of you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm proud of you.
Aww. Love you.
Love you too.
So now we're starting on another traditional dish that is seen all throughout Lebanon and for sure in my family, which is our Batata Mly, which is our Lebanese style fresh hand-cut French fries. And I'm using the Yukon Gold potatoes for this, which you can see right here how beautiful these are. And then I peeled all of the skin off, and it has this beautiful golden color. And I really like using them for these French fries because they have a really nice, rich, sort of creamy texture and flavor. And this dish especially makes me think of my Sitho. She just loves potatoes. And I remember when she came to visit us, I think I was in middle school actually at the time. And I swear every dish that she made for my sister and my brothers and I had some sort of potato in the meal. And she'd always come to the table and say, "Skiboo, skiboo, eat, eat." Okay, so that looks amazing. They're these beautiful sort of long cut strips that we have here. You see that? They're about maybe like a 1/4 inch or so thick. They're not too thin and they're not too thick, okay? And in the meantime, we have our oil that is nice and hot. I'm using vegetable oil today, but you can use canola oil or any sort of oil that you would like, just kind of staying away from the olive oil, of course. And by now, it should be nice and hot. Okay, so we're just gonna simply grab a handful of our fresh cut, hand cut, Yukon golden, delicious potatoes. We're gonna just lower them into the oil, just like so. We want them a nice golden, light golden color, and we want them nice and crispy and crunchy on the outside, and just still really nice and luscious on the inside. I feel like the French fries for sure make this a traditional Lebanese meal because they're always at the table. Both here and in Lebanon, I remember French fries or Lebanese style French fries always being served, and for sure with our dishes that we're making today. They go so perfectly. Our tabouli, our lahem mishwi, our lamb kebabs, our toum sauce really makes a complete traditional Lebanese meal, I feel. And I think my Uncle Dominic's just gonna love it. Especially once we finish these fries with our toum sauce and with our fresh herbs and sea salt, they're gonna be so scrumptious. So while I'm frying up the rest of our Lebanese style French fries that we call Batata Mly, I want you guys to check out my very own herb garden that Mama planted for me this year. So you all know Mama's glorious garden, but this year she helped me plant my very own herb garden right here. I call it my binti, my baby herb garden. So Mama, tell everybody how you helped me plant my herb garden this year.
Well, I focused on herbs that you enjoy cooking with, which is especially tabouli.
Yes.
And that's parsley, scallion, and mint.
Right.
And then we planted other herbs that you use in a lot of your cooking and your stuffing.
So Mama, the number one question that I always get asked is why I like using flat leaf parsley versus the curly parsley.
Well, you're able to cut it really fine, that's what you have to do when you make tabouli. The finer the parsley, the better the tabouli, I think, comes out.
Yeah.
And I think it's got a better taste to it. And to me, it's easier for me to grow, and you do cut it a few times a year and use it over and over again.
The next ingredient in the tabouli, because it's our fresh herb salad, our onion of choice for our tabouli,
Right.
which is our scallions.
Our scallion, and these are my walking onions. And
Yeah, I like that.
they're constantly producing
Yeah.
a scallion all through the summer.
Yeah.
And I do leave them in, some of them to overwinter, and they come back again in the spring. And that's why I like them so much.
And then of course, tabouli
mint.
cannot be complete without our spearmint. We call it nana, by the way, in Lebanese, right?
It just gives the tabouli fresh taste.
Yeah.
It's delicious, you know, it's there. You don't have to put that much to know it's there, because you don't want to put a whole bunch of it because it'll become bitter. So
Yeah.
a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah. There you have it. You have your 3 main ingredients here next to our tomatoes. We have our parsley, which is our, in Lebanese, badunis. We have our
Basal
scallions,
akhdar.
and we have our
Nana.
nana. Thanks, Mama.
You're welcome.
Isn't my binti herb garden that Mama planted for me so beautiful? I'm so thankful and grateful to Mama for planting it for me this year, because I cook so much with herbs that it's really nice to just have them all in one place. It's like one-stop shopping for all of my fresh herbs. And in the meantime, I finished frying our Lebanese style French fries, which I have right here. And we're gonna finish them off with my toum sauce, which I already started. I started off with 1 whole head of garlic that I mashed down into this nice smooth paste that you guys can see right there. Okay, so it's really nice and creamy, and we're gonna basically blend it right now with my olive oil. And we're gonna first sort of blend the garlic with the oil until it becomes kind of one consistency, kind of marry the 2 elements together. Look at that. You see how nice and creamy it got with the olive oil and the garlic paste? And now we're just gonna sort of stream in some fresh lemon juice, just like so, about half of the amount. Now I just want to blend that lemon juice in with the olive oil and with the garlic, just like that. I think it's so fun to make the toum. I actually love making our toum sauce and kind of mashing garlic and our zhirin and our mortar and pestles. Kind of gets out, you know, all of your aggression for the day at least, right? And now what we're going to do is I'm going to drizzle this all over our Lebanese style French fries. Okay, and I actually am gonna sprinkle them a little bit with some fresh parsley that I have right here. Give them a little touch of some sea salt also. And there you have it. There is our Lebanese style French fries that we call Batata Mly. And I'm just gonna actually leave them right over here because now we have one more dish to finish, and you know what it is. It's our Tabouli because it's Tabouli time and it's our Tabouli day. It's all about Tabouli. So I'm gonna grab our Tabouli bowl, and then we have our beautiful fresh mint leaves just sort of awaiting us right on top. And the reason why we didn't chop these beforehand is because they would essentially turn sort of brownish color or even black. You know, very similar to basil in that way. Okay, the mint goes right on top, just like so. And by now, our bulgur wheat is definitely softened because it's been soaking the water. And remember, if you want to use quinoa, you definitely can do that for a gluten-free version. Okay, now we're gonna basically just toss this up in some fresh lemon juice and olive oil and our sea salt. And now we're gonna give it a good old-fashioned Lebanese mix using our hands. Just sort of kind of scooping underneath where those tomatoes have been nestling and all of their delicious juices. And they're just sort of being thoroughly incorporated with the flat leaf parsley, with our scallions, our spring onions, with our fresh mint, of course, and our fresh lemon juice, olive oil, and sea salt. And that is it. I am so happy that I was able to share my Tabouli show with all of you and all of the traditions that I've seen at our Lebanese table since I was a little girl. We have our famous salata, our queen salata, our Tabouli right here front and center, and then who could forget about our luscious lahem mishwi, our lamb kebabs, leading the way like they do in Lebanon and here on our Lebanese table. And then our, well, my sitto's favorite, I should say, our Lebanese style French fries, our Batata Mly, and our toum sauce, a nice bowl of this as well. So we can sort of dip the lamb in the toum sauce and kind of have the whole entire beautiful Tabouli dishes kind of blend well with one another. And I can't wait to share these with my Uncle Dominic, of course. And I wish you and yours always to take lo bul hana, eat in happiness, sending smiles. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you too.
For giving me my childhood nickname that is now my stage name.
It's a pleasure.
Our fresh Tabouli, some of our Lebanese style French fries with garlic, lemon, toum, and fresh parsley. And last but certainly not least, our lahem mishwi, our Lebanese lamb kebabs just for you. Can't wait to eat, and I can't wait to enjoy this traditional Tabouli meal with you.
I've been waiting all day long for this.
I really love that Tabouli is my nickname and stage name because it really is one of my most favorite dishes to make and to eat and to enjoy with you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too.